If you're watching this video, you're probably thinking about moving to Chicago or its surrounding suburbs. Today we're going to talk about a western suburb called Carroll Stream. Now what I want to do is I want to give you kind of a look and feel of what it's like to be in Carroll Stream and actually live here. Now if this is your first time visiting my channel, I want to say thank you for stopping by. And if you want to learn more about living in Chicago and its surrounding suburbs, I want you to click subscribe below so you can get the latest and the greatest. So you're the first to be informed and learn about the current market here in Chicago and its surrounding suburbs. And today what we're going to do is we're going to talk about a few things. First thing is we're going to talk about the schools, population, diversity. Then we're going to talk about cleanliness, safety, housing, and features of Carroll Stream. So I hope it gives you a good idea of what's going on here. So when you come out to visit or you're thinking about moving here, you can get a good idea of what you're coming to. Now, let's talk about schools. Now, the grade school and middle schools are all comprised under what is called CCSD 93. Now, CCSD has 7 elementary schools here in Carroll Stream. The first one is Cloverdale, Roy DeShane, Western Trails, Spring Trail, Evergreen, Carroll Stream, and Heritage Lakes. Now, it also has one middle school, which is called J Stream. Now, for high school, we have one high school, and that's actually School District 87. So that high school is Glenbard North High School. Now, if you want ratings about any of these schools, there's a couple of websites you can take a look at. And the ratings websites, one of them is called greatschools.org, and the other one is niche.com. So they're going to grade and they're going to give you an idea of what it's like to be in their schools. They're going to test on certain things, and hopefully it'll give you kind of a roundabout way. So some schools may score less, or some schools may score higher. It's all going to depend on how they actually do the scoring. So you'll have to check that out for yourself. Now the population here in Carroll Stream is 39,447, and the median age of adults is 40.1 years old. Now the diversity, and this is where it gets really interesting. The diversity, this is a pretty diverse area, and 26.8% of residents were born outside of this country. And 45.4% of the residents are either Asian, Hispanic, Black, or other. So we got a pretty good mix of people, and it's a very diverse community. Now, the cleanliness is something that I really enjoyed about Carroll Stream, because Carroll Stream has always been a very clean area as far as I could tell, and this particular report is going to tell us why. Now, in 2021, the village contracted a professional survey company called Polco NRC to solicit feedback on village services. Now, the interesting thing was that 93% of the residents would recommend people living in Carroll Stream. So you can see many people, the great majority of them, are very happy living here. Now, as far as drinking water, street cleaning, storm water management, snow removal, and animal control, all were satisfied anywhere from 80 to 87% of the respondents. So they have a very good opinion of how this town is being managed. Now let's talk about safety. Some people may think of it as crime, but basically this is how people feel here. Now, based on that, 1.04 per 1,000 residents experience a violent crime compared to 4 per 1,000 nationally. So we're way below what would be considered the national average. Now, housing. The median house value is roughly $247,600, and sales ranges anywhere from $90,000 in a condo to about $705,000 for a single family home. The bulk of the single family homes are going to be above $200,000 and below maybe $500,000. There's very few that are above that $500,000 mark. So you're going to see a pretty good mix of that $200,000 to $500,000 properties. Now, the interesting thing about Carroll Stream is that 69.1% of homes are owner occupied, and that's based on the U.S. Census Bureau of 2020. Now, features of Carroll Stream, one of the nice things here is that they have plenty of walking and or bike paths. Now, they kind of crisscross. Some of them go north-south. Like, for example, they go from Army Trail all the way down to North Avenue, going down Gary Avenue or Coon. And some of the other ones are going east-west, like what you have on Lige Road from, say, Gary Avenue all the way over to about County Farm, or even as far as Fair, I think it's called Fair Oaks Avenue. So those are the ones that they've implemented here, and it's quite a bit. And so some of them were actually put in after the pandemic started. So that's actually a pretty good thing that I enjoy quite a bit myself. We have 2 public swimming pools. We have the Carroll Stream Park District, which is on Lies and County Farm Road. And we have the newly constructed Fountain View Recreation Center, which is there on Gary, right there on the corner of Gary and Lige Road. So we have 2 pretty enormous facilities for Carroll Stream. Now, the other nice thing about Carroll Stream is that they have 19 different public parks. That's quite a bit. As a matter of fact, there's even one that's a BART park. And it's a pretty big and extensive one that's at the south end of Carroll Stream. Now, all the parks are very family friendly and they're well maintained. Now, if you want to get an idea to reserve one for a special event, you may want to call the Carroll Stream Park District, and they'll help you and tell you which properties will actually accommodate the event that you want to give. Also, we have here in Carroll Stream is a historic farmhouse that's right there on Lige Road. Very pretty area, very nice home. Not really open right now to visitors, but I believe that they're doing some renovating to make that happen. It is considered a museum and it is a historic house. It's one of the only farmhouses in this particular area. So very nice about how they try to keep the history of Carroll Stream alive. Now, here's a little history about Carroll Stream you may not have known. The village of Carroll Stream was incorporated in 1959 by a man named J. Stream. As you can tell, they named the middle school after him. Now, he was a developer of affordable housing, and he named the village after his daughter Carol, thus the name Carroll Stream. Now, if you currently have lived in Carroll Stream, leave us a comment. Now, this would be very helpful to those that would be looking to move here. Whether it's positive or negative, doesn't really matter. But I want to give people a feel for what it's like to be here in Carroll Stream. Please be nice, because this is a family channel. So if you're looking to move here, I want to invite you to give me a text or shoot me a message via this platform. You can text me at 630-606-3344. I would love to show you around. I hope this was very informative. Please don't forget to subscribe below, and I hope to hear from you soon. And be on the lookout for my next videos on surrounding suburbs here in this area.